Salutations friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do another one of those videos like I did a few weeks ago where I answer some of the questions that you guys leave me in the comment section rather than just responding underneath. I figured it might be fun to kind of address some of the questions and comments that you guys leave me. And you guys seem to really like this video and I really like doing these types of videos, so let's get into it. First, let me say a humongous thank you guys. I reached 10,000 subscribers within the past week. I'm still completely blown away and flabbergasted. I never thought I would get anywhere even close to 10,000 subscribers. This really means a lot to me. Thank you guys so much for your support. It means so much to me. You have no idea, especially the past few months that have been really rough. This has just been really stupendous. So I just wanted to give you guys a humongous thank you for that. So the first comment comes from my Raja Perfumes fragrance collection. And Esme writes, where do you usually buy your perfumes? I live in Florida too and started to build my perfume collection. Do you have a special website or just buy retail? When I lived down south in Fort Lauderdale, I bought most of my fragrances from the Neiman Marcus at the Galleria Mall. Larry was my sales associate or SA and he was absolutely amazing. I considered him more of a friend. I always go in and we would just have a lot of fun, and I would spend sometimes like an hour or two at the counter just talking fragrance, sampling, sniffing a few things, and buying a bunch of stuff. Definitely spent a lot of time at that counter. So if you live in the South Florida area, think the 954 area code, or even if you live in 561 or 305, I definitely recommend checking out the Neiman Marcus counter at the Galleria Mall. Definitely very knowledgeable staff, very passionate about fragrance. I always had a lot of fun. Other places you could go to are the mall at Boca Raton, Town Center Mall. All of their department stores had a beautiful fragrance selection, so I would go there. Aventura Mall obviously had a very large collection, and I always recommend going to Osme Perfumery in Miami. Definitely a ways down in the Miami area, but they have an amazing collection. Maurice and Bafka are very passionate and knowledgeable about scents, and it's definitely a location to check out if you are a frag head and you're in the area. So when I would buy retail, those are the places that I would go. Online purchasing retail, I try to buy directly from the houses if possible. So if I buy Zoologist, I buy from zoologist.com. If it's House of Matriarch, I buy houseofmatriarch.com. I have purchased a lot from Lucky Scent, and other places that I would purchase are retailers that are kind of more discount retailers, Max Aroma, Fragrance Net, places like that. But for the most part, I do spend full price retail if I go into a store, but the Galleria Mall, their fragrance counter there, is the place that I spent the most time and probably the most money. So I have a few from this video, which is my top 10 sexiest fragrances for Valentine's Day. And Sensual asks, if you had to choose between the Baccarat Rouge 540 X Straight and Lost Cherry, which would you choose and why? This is actually a really hard decision, and I did think about this one a little bit. Both of these scents I have a huge love for, and when I think about it, I would think about the one that I would want to wear more, that I'm more excited to wear, and I think I'd actually have to choose Lost Cherry from Tom Ford. One of the reasons being is because you specifically asked about the X Straight, not just the 540 fragrances. And to me, the Baccarat Rouge 540 X Straight, although it does have that amazing bitter almond note, it doesn't have the projection and the performance that the Baccarat Rouge Eau de Parfum has. So if I had to choose between the two of them, like one that I think is amazing, I definitely love them both practically equally. But I think that the cherry has that little added extra that I can have the Baccarat Rouge 540 Parfum and have the Lost Cherry from Tom Ford and not miss too much in regards to the X Straight. It's because the X Straight and the Eau de Parfum are so similar, but the major difference again is that bitter almond note. But because those two are so similar, it's not asking me to choose between the Eau de Parfum or the X Straight. You're asking me to choose between the Lost Cherry and the extract of Baccarat Rouge 540, I think just how in love with Lost Cherry I am, how beautiful it is, how long lasting it is, just how gorgeous and sexy it is, and how excited I am to wear that scent. I think it would definitely have to be Lost Cherry from Tom Ford. But do not get me wrong, I do wickedly and violently love the Baccarat Rouge 540 extrait as well. Sean Senti Mama Mitchell asks, how did you start being a perfume collector? I think I became a fanatic about perfume, seeing a lot of fragrances from my mom's shelf. I remember she had so much Avon. So I've talked about this before. Also, it's great to see someone who's had like a long history of fragrance collecting. My first job when I was 16 was actually at a fragrance store. It was like a store similar to Sephora or Ulta Beauty. It was called Douglas Cosmetics. There's only a handful open in the States. I was hired as the cashier fragrance girl, and I got a lot of experience smelling a lot of different things, and I wore a lot of scents too before that. I kind of went into the darkness of it, like being bullied and things like that, and so I really gravitated onto scents because I was bullied about body odor. Even though I didn't have body odor, they would say it was one of the things they said. So I constantly always made sure I had a lot of scents and fragrances and deodorants on me. I always wanted to know that I smelled good. It is something that I kind of grabbed onto because of that darkness. I also just always liked smelling things. I had a lot of very strong scent memories growing up too. And so my first job, I was in this world of the beauty and fragrance industry, and I really went to the fragrance part of it. At my first paycheck, I bought fragrances, and I've talked about this a bunch, but it really kind of kick-started my collecting of fragrances as a collection. And so I started from my first job, and I started with buying a lot of designer scents, some indie scents. I mean, some of the first fragrances I bought were fragrances from Demeter. I bought a lot of Elizabeth Arden. Clinique fragrances like Happy and things like that are the ones that I wore. And then as I grew up and had more money and more experience, I would start to venture out into the world of like niche fragrances, more indie scents and things like that. But it definitely started with, again, like liking to smell good. My mom really liked fragrances, so I was used to that. Whenever we would go to, what's the word I'm looking for, field trips to the mall, we'd all go to Bath & Body Works and buy like cucumber melon body spray and body lotion. And then just, again, being bullied about like having BO, even though I didn't. It was just the thing that they chose to pick me on. I always wanted to just make sure I smelled good, so I definitely started wearing a lot of fragrances, and it became very important to me. And I think my mom saw that, so she would buy me fragrances I really love, and she'd have me try new things as well. And that's when I got into the Elizabeth Arden green tea fragrances and things like that. It's a lot. There's definitely like a big foundation for me, and fragrance has been a huge part of my life and something that I definitely gravitate towards and love, like really genuinely love. My tastes have developed from a very early age, things that I really like and gravitate towards and things that work with my body chemistry. But my collecting has come from not just a place of wanting to smell good, but viewing it as olfactive art and kind of wanting to round out the perfect collection in my eyes for me, and just kind of filling it and adding to it and curating it as well. But definitely, I'm a fragrance collector is how I view it. Some people might call it a fragrance addiction, and I don't really have a huge, like, I know that if you looked at the number of fragrances I had, excuse me while I sit back for a minute, hi. I definitely know if you view how much money I've invested into this hobby, how many fragrances I have, people do view it as superfluous and unnecessary. But when it comes down to collecting and hobbies, I think that addiction is a negative term used when something negatively impacts your life to a degree. There's people out there who love to shop and have a shopping addiction to where they're maxing out credit cards, they have a tremendous amount of debt, or they might, you know, kind of like hide their purchases from their family and nobody kind of knows how much they actually spend or things like that. Or there's people out there who love to shop that know, hey, you know, I got an extra like $200 on my paycheck this week, I paid all my bills, I'm gonna go out and have some fun. And I think that's the difference between having like a hobby and having an addiction, or like doing something for fun and having an addiction, is when it negatively affects you in your health or in your finances. My fragrances, I don't have credit card debt. I mean, I have a little bit of debt that I pay off at the end of every month, but my bills are paid. I'm able to pay all my bills. I mean, I work full time. I just am in a situation where I like to spend my extra money on perfume, and other people might want to spend it on shoes, and other people might also want to spend it on clothes, or maybe go out and buy a nice bottle of wine, or go on vacations. I don't do that. I sit at home, I watch Netflix, and I wear fragrance. So my extra income is spent on here, but I don't have debt. I don't have, my bills are paid on time. And so it's not like it's a fragrance addiction, because it's not negatively impacting me. Yeah, people might think it's weird that I have over 600 bottles of perfume, but it's not negatively affecting me financially. I have a savings. My savings is nice and full. I have a really nice 401k that's building. Like, I'm just spending my extra money that I have on perfume. And I know this is kind of going off topic, but I see a lot of people talking about fragrance addiction and just addiction in general when it comes to this community. And I think that you have to understand where each individual person is coming from in regards to their lifestyle, their finances. I don't have children. I work full time. I make decent money doing what I'm doing. And I have a love of fragrance, and it's pretty much what I spend my money on. So if you look at it from a collecting point of view, it is excessive, but at the same time, like, again, I don't have debt. I'm not hurting in any way financially in regards to, this is just what I spend my extra money on. And so being a collector and having this extravagant collection, I don't think I'd ever thought it would there we go, sorry. I didn't think it would ever get this big, and it is rather large. It is not the largest collection on YouTube, and definitely not the largest collection in the States or worldwide. Within the fragrance community, and these are people who are fragrance enthusiasts, the number of full bottles I have is on the larger side, is on the more extravagant, but it's nowhere near other people's. And I feel like as long as you are participating in this community in a way that you are excited about, in a way that brings you contentment and excitement and fulfillment, as long as you are not hurting yourself financially, physically, in any capacity, I think however you want to experience this community is. I don't think that anyone should be ashamed for how they participate in this community or how they spend their own money that they work on, as long as they are able to pay their bills and be a responsible adult. And if you're a responsible adult and you pay your bills and you have an extra maybe a few $100 or $1,000 at the end of the month and you want to spend it on a bottle of perfume, I think you should be able to do that. Anyway, that last little question got a little bit on a tangent, so I'm gonna end it here. But I kind of did want to talk to you guys a little bit and answer some of your questions. Again, if you like these types of videos, let me know. Give this video a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments. If you do not like these types of videos, there's a thumbs down button, and you can also let me know in the comments as well. Again, a humongous thank you to just for helping me reach 10,000 subscribers. It really means a lot to me, and I hope I can continue to bring you guys content that you love and enjoy. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.